Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Jinger Duggar shares Jim Bob's warped view of adoption. Counting on alum Jinger Duggar Vuolo made tons of shocking statements during her participation in the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. The 30-year-old shared her challenging life with the Duggar family, including the time when she decided to wear pants. However, Jinger caught the attention of many after sharing her father Jim Bob's thoughts regarding adoption. Keep reading to see her mind-blowing statements. Counting on, Jinger Duggar talks wearing pants in front of parents. One of the things Jinger mentioned during the podcast was her decision to wear pants. The Counting on alum has already stated that she sought answers in the Bible about restricting women from wearing pants, but she couldn't find any. But this time, she talked about how she did it in front of her parents. According to Jinger, she initially wore skirts during gatherings to honor them. But she later transitioned to wearing pants and explained that she didn't have any intention of rubbing anything in anyone's face. "I wanted to let them know, regardless of how things go, I just want to be able to share that," she added before saying that she's still loved and cared for by her family despite her decision. Jinger shares Jim Bob's view of adoption. During the latest episode of the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby, Jinger Duggar Vuolo opened up about her father's thoughts on adoption. According to the Counting on alum, Jim Bob has such a warped view of adoption. He was afraid to bring an outsider child to their home, as it may give them its generational curse. "You don't want to bring that child to your home because it could be a disturbance to your family," she added. Jinger also said that Jim Bob Duggar thinks the child's family may have a voodoo worshipping background, which could end up cursing their home. Some Redditors were also shocked by Jinger's claims. Counting on, Jinger Duggar clarifies claims. Jinger has also made some shocking statements regarding the IBLP's teachings during the podcast. However, the Counting on alum clarified that most of her topics are about Bill Goathart's view and have nothing to do with her family in Arkansas. But it seems it's too late for Jinger Duggar Vuolo to explain, as she already stated a piece of shocking information regarding her father. Will this put dirt in their relationship? Jinger Duggar shares Jim Bob's warped view of adoption. Jinger Duggar Vuolo, known for her breakout from the conservative Duggar family's rigid beliefs, has once again stirred public discourse. In a recent interview promoting her memoir, Becoming Free Indeed, she opened up about a deeply personal topic, adoption. While reflecting on her own evolving views, Jinger didn't shy away from sharing her father Jim Bob Duggar's controversial and, as she put it, warped perspective on adoption. This revelation sheds light on yet another layer of the Duggar family's complex ideology, shaped by their adherence to the strict teachings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP. Adoption, a practice widely regarded as noble and loving, seems to have been viewed quite differently in the Duggar household, leaving Jinger with conflicted emotions as she matured. A childhood framed by dogma. Growing up in a household of 19 children, Jinger's world was defined by faith, family, and a rigid interpretation of biblical teachings. The Duggars famously followed the principles of IBLP, founded by Bill Gothard, which offered a strict roadmap for family, education, and moral discussions about adoption were rare but revealing. "My parents saw everything through the lens of spiritual warfare," she explained in her memoir. "They believed God gives children to parents biologically because it's part of His divine plan. To them, adopting a child meant stepping outside that plan, and potentially inviting spiritual baggage into the home." Jinger recalled overhearing a conversation between her father, Jim Bob, and another church member when she was a teenager. The topic of adoption came up, and Jim Bob expressed concerns about bringing in unseen challenges. He believed that children who weren't biologically related might carry generational curses or sins from their birth families. "At the time, I didn't question it," Jinger admitted. "When you're a kid, you trust your parents completely. I thought, if Dad says it, it must be true." But as she grew older and moved away from her family's teachings, Jinger began to see the implications of this mindset. Jinger's journey to understanding. Jinger's marriage to Jeremy Vuolo marked a turning point in her life. The couple settled in California, far from her Arkansas roots, and began carving out their own beliefs. Through counseling, personal Bible study, and exposure to diverse communities, Jinger started to question many of the doctrines she had been taught, including her father's views on adoption. "I met families who had adopted children, and their love and dedication were undeniable," Jinger said during her interview. "These kids weren't cursed, they were blessings. The idea that they were somehow less deserving of love or had to carry the weight of their biological family's past was heartbreaking." She recounted one transformative moment when a close friend shared her adoption story. The friend's parents had taken her in as an infant after her biological family faced severe hardship. "Hearing her talk about how adoption saved her life made me realize how narrow-minded and hurtful my father's perspective was," Jinger explained. Jim Bob's influence on family decisions. Jim Bob Duggar's views on adoption were not merely personal opinions, they influenced family decisions on a larger scale. In the Duggar household, children were often tasked with caring for their younger siblings, fostering a sense of familial responsibility. However, the idea of bringing in a child from outside the family was never entertained. "Dad saw our family as a ministry," Jinger said. "He believed our biological children would be the ones to carry on the legacy of faith. Adoption didn't fit into that vision because it meant bringing in someone who wasn't chosen by God to be part of our family." Jinger revealed that her mother, Michelle, seemed more open to the idea of adoption, especially as their fame grew and they received letters from fans urging them to adopt. "I think Mom's heart was softer on this issue," Jinger noted. "But Dad had the final say in everything." The fallout from speaking out. Ginger's candidness about her upbringing has not been without consequences. Her memoir, which critiques the IBLP and highlights her journey to personal freedom, has created tension within the Duggar family. By addressing Jim Bob's views on adoption, she has once again walked a fine line between sharing her truth and potentially alienating herself from her parents and siblings. "Some of my siblings have reached out to me privately to say they agree with what I'm saying, but they're not ready to speak publicly," Jinger shared. "Others have accused me of dishonoring our parents. It's hard, but I feel a responsibility to share what I've learned." Respond directly to her claims about his views on adoption, but sources close to the family suggest that he is deeply unhappy with Ginger's ongoing revelations. A call for change. Jinger hopes that by sharing her story, she can inspire others to rethink their perspectives on adoption and other issues shaped by cultural or religious dogma. "Adoption is a beautiful picture of redemption," she said. "It reflects God's love for us, how He brings us into His family regardless of where we come from or what we've done." She and Jeremy have discussed adoption as a possibility for their own family, though they haven't made any concrete plans. "We're open to wherever God leads us," Jinger said. "I just want to make sure that if we do adopt, we do it with the right heart, not out of a sense of obligation or as a way to fix someone, but because we're ready to give our love unconditionally." Reactions from fans and critics. Fans of Jinger have largely praised her for her bravery in addressing sensitive topics. "It takes guts to speak out against your family, especially one as high profile as the Duggars," one fan commented online. Critics, however, have accused her of exploiting her family's name for profit. "Jinger wouldn't have a platform without the Duggars, and now she's using it to tear them down," wrote one detractor. Jinger, for her part, remains focused on her mission. "I'm not sharing these things to hurt my family," she said. "I'm sharing them because I know there are people out there who have been hurt by the same teachings and need to know they're not alone." Conclusion. Jinger Duggar Vuolo's revelations about her father's warped view of adoption are a poignant reminder of how deeply family beliefs can shape our understanding of the world. By stepping away from her upbringing and challenging these ideas, Jinger has opened a broader conversation about faith, love, and the true meaning of family. As she continues her journey, Jinger hopes to be a voice for change, not just within her own family, but for anyone grappling with the weight of harmful ideologies. "We're all on a journey," she said. "Mine just happens to be one that's very public. But if my story helps even one person find freedom, it's worth it."